we will raise fuel efficiency standards on cars. If we raised it to 40 miles per gallon, we would save the equivalent of all the oil we import from the Persian Gulf. Imagine what that would do, not just for our economy, but for our environment and our national security. That's the only way to bring down gas prices, is if we start using less gas. And by the way, when I made this argument, when I made this proposal, I didn't do it in front of some environmental group. I went to Detroit in front of the automakers, and I told them that America needs the automakers to change their ways. And I have to say that nobody clapped. The room was really quiet. But that's okay, because part of what you need from the next president is somebody who will tell you not just what you want to hear, but will tell you what you need to hear, will tell you the truth. That's the kind of president I want to be, one you can trust. If you are ready for change, if you believe, then we can finally have a foreign policy that recognizes there's no contradiction between being safe and being respected around the world. Those two things are complementary. My job as Commander-in-Chief will be to keep you safe. And I will do whatever is required. I won't hesitate to strike against anybody who would do us harm. But that means maintaining a strong military, and that means equipping our troops properly, and training them properly, and putting them on proper rotations. It means that when they come home, we treat them properly. No more homeless veterans. No more begging for disability payments. No more begging to get into the VA. We have to show them the honor and respect that they deserve. But part of keeping you safe is also using our military wisely. And the war in Iraq was unwise. It was unwise. It fanned the flames of anti-American sentiment. It distracted us from going after Bin Laden and Al-Qaeda. It has cost us, it will soon have cost us over $1 trillion, maybe closer to $2 by the time this thing is over. We could have rebuilt this country with that money. We have borrowed from China, put ourselves in debt for a war that has not made us more safe. So this was an unwise war. That's why I opposed it in 2002. That's why I'll bring it to an end in 2009. We are going to bring our troops home in 2009 while I'm President of the United States. But we are not just going to end the war. I want to end the mindset that got us in the war. You know, early in this campaign I said I would not just meet with our friends, I would meet with our enemies. Not just with leaders we like, but leaders we didn't. And I was attacked in Washington. You know, people said, oh, you can't do that. And I said, watch me. Yes, you can. And the reason that John F. Kennedy gave. He said, we should never negotiate out of fear, but we should never fear to negotiate. Strong countries and strong presidents talk to their adversaries, tell them where America stands, try to resolve differences without resort to war. And when we do that, we can go before the world community and say, America's back. I want to say, America's back. We are ready to lead. We will lead against terrorists. We will lead on loose nuclear weapons. But we will also lead. We will also lead on climate change. We will also lead on helping poor countries deal with the devastation of HIV/AIDS. We will also lead in bringing an end to the genocide in Darfur. That's leadership. We can lead. lead by example, by maintaining the highest standards of human rights and civil rights and rule of law, which is why we're going to close Guantanamo, we're going to restore habeas corpus, we're going to have a Justice Department that believes in justice, a Civil Rights Division that believes in civil rights, we'll have an Environmental Protection Agency that believes in environmental protection, a Department of Labor that believes in labor, and you will have a president who has taught the Constitution, who believes in the Constitution, and will obey the Constitution of the United States of America. Now, this is all possible if you believe. Before you tell me you believe, I just want to be fair to the other side and let you hear some of the arguments about why you shouldn't believe. Argument number one, Obama can make good speeches and he's got some nice proposals, but he hasn't been in Washington long enough. So we've got to season and stew him a little bit more and boil all the hope out of him, and then maybe he'll be ready in about 20 years. Now, I have to admit that the American people don't seem to be buying this argument because they recognize that the last thing we need is to have the same old cast of characters doing the same old things, playing the same old games, running the same old okey-doke, and somehow expecting a different result. We need something new. We need a new direction. That's why I'm running for president of the United States of America. Y'all know what the okey-doke is, right? I had to explain that to Ted Kennedy. I used the okey-doke. He said, what's the okey-doke? I said, okey-doke. All right, so that's argument number one. Argument number two, Obama is not tough enough to withstand the Republican attack machine. This is what Senator Clinton says. She says, you know, I'm better matched because the Republicans, I want to give this argument a fair shot. Now, I have to explain to people, I'm skinny, but I'm tough. Skinny, I'm wiry. Don't mess with me. Let them bring it on. Who they got? John McCain? Listen, I respect John McCain for his half-century service to this country. He is a genuine war hero, and we need to honor him for that. He's gone through things that most of us cannot even imagine. He deserves applause. He deserves our respect. But he is on the wrong side of history right now. He wants to perpetuate the Bush economic agenda that has failed working Americans. We don't need more of that. He wants to perpetuate Bush's foreign policy, talking about a 100-year war in Iraq. We don't need more of that. I am happy to have a debate with John McCain because we are the party of tomorrow. He's the party of yesterday. He's the past, we're the future. That's an argument I want to have with the Republican Party. Not to mention, I want to attract some Republicans into the fold. I know there's some Republicans out there right now. I know. There's one. See, I know because sometimes they whisper to me when I'm shaking hands. They say, Barack, I'm a Republican. And I support you. And I say, thank you. Why are we whispering? So we call them Obamacans.